Hi, today we're heading to Ironbridge Gorge. Before we start, please subscribe if you don't already. Subscribe buttons just below. Thanks. We've arrived at Ironbridge Gorge. In the background there, down the River Severn, we can see the gorge, just about maybe. The car park that we're on has free parking for disabled people. It's a pay and display car park, but it's free for blue badge holders. We're right next to the Ironbridge Gorge Museum, so we're going to go in there first and then we'll have a wander down to the Iron Bridge itself. So we've just come into the museum. Free entry for disabled people and the carer pays, as we found when we went to Blists Hill. And in front of us, we've got a model from 1796, when the Dutch Prince of Orange, William V, and his wife, Princess Wilhelmina, visited on Friday the 12th of August 1796. And this model represents what they would have seen at noon on that Friday.
That's a very specific timing, isn't it?
It is, because it has them boarding somewhere in here, boarding the boat that they travelled on. So that was it as it was then. It's actually a different colour now.
Take it you can't touch the model, it's behind glass.
It's behind glass, yes. So it's quite a big model. It's quite a chunk of the River Severn shown there. This is really, really detailed and quite intricate. Oh, it's a bottle oven there. They had pottery here too. Oh, there's several bottle ovens. And it just keeps going. There's lots of boats.
We come to see a bridge and we see pottery. Two for the price of one.
And we see lots of boats on the River Severn. Complete with a little, almost like a cliff railway. That must be the Blists Hill one. And another pottery there. And out through here, we can see some railway lines, or cuts down to the river. It says the first railways were wooden wagonways and carts ran along the rails so they could get down to the river. And it says here they've had local clays being mined in the Ironbridge Gorge since at least the 17th century. These clays were used to make pipes and local pottery, including slipware and jackfield ware. So we've got some pipes here, clay pipes.
Well, that's the name you haven't heard before, Jackfield.
It says in the 1720s, Staffordshire potters migrated to Broseley and Jackfield, bringing with them the skills to make fine white salt-glazed stoneware with incised decoration dusted with blue cobalt. And here we've got some iron. And it says in 1709, Abraham Darby first began to smelt iron using coke as a fuel instead of charcoal. He also developed a new method of casting pots. These steps ultimately enabled the mass production of cast iron goods. So we've got some examples there. So we've got a cast iron frying pan, and there's a pot behind it. And we've got some decorative cast iron products. And obviously the Iron Bridge itself is made of cast iron. So here we've got some pottery from Coalport. It says the mines and industries down the river of Coalbrookdale were linked to the commercial highway of the River Severn by the Shropshire Canal, which was built between 1788 and 1793 by William Reynolds. The Coalport China industries, located beside the River Severn and the newly constructed canal, were perfectly situated for the import of raw materials and the export of goods to market. In the 1860s, the arrival of the steam railway provided a new way to transport raw materials and finished products, making the Coalport branch of the Shropshire Canal redundant. We can see some quite intricate Coalport pottery here. These ones are from the 1800s. This is a model of a seven trow, or trow, however they said it, and it's called Spry, built in Chepstow in 1894 for stone merchant William Davies, and transported limestone from the riverside quarries near Chepstow down to Cardiff. She was converted about in 1913 into a ketch, and in 1930 she became a dumb barge hauled along by a tug. And she was rediscovered in the 1970s, and she was restored, and she now lives at Blists Hill Victorian Town. So I can't remember if we saw her or not when we were there, but this is a really big model of her. It's quite impressive, the detail in that as well. And to the left here, there's the auditorium, so we shall go in there and we will see you afterwards. We've come out of the museum. We've just been in the auditorium where we learned some of the history. So 1779 that the Iron Bridge was opened, the first cast iron bridge, so that the workers could get across the River Severn, because it was quite difficult. They were having to take boats to get across. So that's how it worked, and a little bit about how some of the pottery industry sprung up around here. So that was interesting. Our next plan is to have a wander down towards the Iron Bridge itself and the toll house that's down there.
Before we start our wander, I would like to point out that the auditorium, they really have done everything that they can to make things accessible. For example, if you're hard of hearing like I am, they have a T-loop setting, and with that on, then you'll be able to hear the film just fine. And they also have a transcript of the film.
We were walking down alongside the River Severn. On the other side of the road, there's pubs and eateries and all sorts of stuff. So it's quite a pleasant little walk down, heading towards the Iron Bridge. Okay, we're getting up close to the Iron Bridge now, almost there. So on the other side of the bridge, we've got all these little quaint shops. And George has pointed out, if I zoom in, we might be able to see it just about, that it says, this bridge was cast at Colebrookdale and erected in the year MDCC-LXX1X. I'll let you figure out the Roman numerals. M is 1000, D is 500, C is 100, so MDCC 1700, L is 50, X is 10, so LXX is 70, so that's 1770, and it ends in 1X, so it's 1779. We're about to begin our walk over the Iron Bridge. You can see the River Severn down there. I can smell fish and chips. I think my nose is working overtime, not just yours, John.
Yeah.
So we're almost over the other side. And in front of us, we have the toll house, where in days gone by, people would have paid their tolls to go across the bridge. And up there on the side of the house, there's a table of tolls, and it says For every time they pass over this bridge, for every coach, landau, hearse, chaise, chair, such like, carriage is drawn by 6 horses, mares, geldings or mules, 2 shillings. For 4 it'd be 1 and 6, for 2 it'd be 1 shilling and 1 would be 6pence. For every horse, mule, ass, pair of oxen drawing or harnessed, to draw any wagon, cart or such like carriage for each horse, 3pence. And then it goes on. For every foot passenger going over the bridge, half a penny.
Quite reasonable.
Thank you. Inside we've got lots of information about the toll bridge and why it was built, really, about how busy the River Severn was, as it was the main route to transport raw materials for industry. It was closed to traffic in 1934 and freed from tolls in 1950. Apparently when Prince Charles visited in 1979 to commemorate the bicentenary of the bridge, he was asked to pay the toll of half a penny. Just come upstairs. There's a model of the original iron bridge, which is cast in aluminium alloy on a 1/33 scale, and it contains 2,400 separate pieces and was constructed during 1982 to 88. And here is a breakdown of the costs of making the bridge back in the 1700s. That was in 1775. Its initial costs were £3,200, but it cost over £6,000 to complete. And it says if he wanted to build the bridge today, he would have had to have raised about £1.5 million. It said that Derby had rashly agreed to pay any differences between the initial cost of £3,200 and the final cost, which left him with enormous debts and the iron bridge becoming a huge financial burden for the rest of his life. The iron bridge was privately owned and subject to a toll, and prices were set by an Act of Parliament in 1776. True to his Quaker roots, Abraham Derby III did not allow exemption from payments. Officers on duty, mail coaches and even the royal family had to pay a toll. And there's a picture of Prince Charles in 1979 paying his toll. It's the day the elephant crossed the iron bridge. It says the stunt attracted a large crowd who watched as the elephant stopped on the town end of the bridge before crossing over past the toll house. They must have paid a toll, but not surprising, elephants weren't included on the toll board. There was a list of practically every other animal though: sheep, cows, horses, oxen. The 1776 Act of Parliament listed the tolls, but once cars and motorbikes were on the scene, new categories were required. Weighing about 3 tons, the owner of the elephant was probably charged 6pence for the elephant to cross, the same rate as a vehicle weighing over 2 tons. There's a quick look up the river from the bridge. Found the source of the smell of the fish and chips, and now we're at the fish and chip shop about to indulge. Yummy. We've had our fish and chips. I'm glad we succumbed to the smell, aren't you, John?
It was very good fish and chips.
It was, and very filling. Do you enjoy them, George? Just tell us how much you enjoyed them. A lot?
I guess.
Okay. He enjoyed them as well. Very, very filling and warming, and a nice hot chocolate afterwards. So now we shall continue. Just noticed across the road we've got a horse and carriage, so you can have a nice ride around the town if you want to. We've decided to head back to the car because it's getting quite busy now, and the pavements are quite narrow, so we've decided to head back now. but we've really enjoyed it. It's not been too bad to start with because it's winter and not so many people are out. I imagine in summer that this place is probably rammed, and I can understand why, because it is really nice, it's pretty, you've got the river, you've got lots of places to eat.
Lots of different shops to look around
Lots of
as well.
different shops, and you've got the bridge to look at, so you've got a bit of history to look at. And there's all the other museums that are part of Ironbridge Gorge as well. So there's Blists Hill, which we've been to before. I can put a link to that one in the description. So it's been really, really enjoyable. But anyway, thanks for joining us. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, and please hit the subscribe button if you've got this far. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.